Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley wants you to know that she is real sorry about Trump. Okay. Well, this is interesting. I mean, oh, wow. Made a big mistake. Didn't see that one coming. Had no idea it was fascist. Wow. Oops. Sorry. Okay, let me give you the real, the real quotes here. This comes from an interview with Politico's Tim Alberta. Now, in it, Haley said that she didn't think that Trump would be a significant figure in the Republican Party going forward. And she admitted that it was a mistake for the GOP to help him in his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. So now that's really interesting. Okay. So there's a couple of parts to this, which I think are pretty fascinating. For one, Trump being a significant figure in the GOP. I actually want to talk about that later, but let's get to the Republicans helping him part. Okay. Because I think that's really interesting because you have the impeachment trial going on right now. And you have a lot of Republicans, including 197 House Republicans, saying, we're not going to hold Trump accountable at all for anything that he's done. We are not going to convict. In fact, we think that this impeachment trial is bad. We are not in favor of it. All right. So now here's what she said about Trump. Quote, he went down a path he shouldn't have, and we shouldn't have followed him. And we shouldn't have listened to him. And we can't let that ever happen again. Well, now the big question, of course, is who's we? Who's the we? Because as far as I can tell, the vast majority of the Republican Party is still going down that road right now. And they're not at all ashamed of going down that road. So that is interesting, right? Because right now I can see that they're going to very, very likely acquit Donald Trump. I know that. Y'all know that. She knows that. I mean, come on. Donald Trump is not going to be held accountable for anything that he has done. So to me, her words seem pretty hollow, okay? Especially what she says next. Now, Haley insisted in the interview that while she was proud of the work she had done, she said that after the election happened and he had lost, something had fundamentally changed in him. Okay. Well, this is interesting. Haley insisted in the interview that, quote, I am deeply disturbed by what happened to him. Never did I think he would spiral out like this. I don't feel like I know who he is anymore. The person that I worked with is not the person that I have watched since the election. So basically, who is this guy? I don't know. He's not acting like himself. Man. Now, from that statement, all I can conclude is that either Nikki Haley is blind or completely blind, or she just wasn't paying attention at all for the entire time that Trump was president. Or maybe, just too busy plotting out her lucrative post-Trump career. Now, to be fair, of course, Nikki Haley has criticized Trump before. True. But honestly, there's no way she could not have known who he was, who this guy is. I mean, it's fairly obvious to anyone. We could tell, I could tell, anybody paying attention knew that Donald Trump was proto-fash. Okay? And of course, Republicans, every time you say that, Republicans will, come on here and be like, oh, come on, man, you're just being hyperbolic. I mean, besides, we all knew who the real Nazi was, Obama. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't know what you're saying. You're talking ridiculous nonsense. And by the way, that is a thing that happened. I'm not being hyperbolic about this. Republicans have made way too many Obama-Hitler comparisons. I'm serious. And so, just to give notable examples, Glenn Beck, Louis Gohmert, Paul Brown, the list goes on and on. And not to mention numerous Fox News hosts making those comparisons. And so, in reality, though, we know who we know who's been flirting with fascism, and that is the far right. Now, the problem for people like Nikki Haley, though, is that, for one, an actual fascist takeover wouldn't end up well for her. All right? Nikki's not even a real name. Okay. Secondly, of course, being tied to Donald Trump is not good for your career. It turns out it's kind of toxic, being, related to this at all. And if Nikki Haley is anything, Nikki Haley is a careerist. So, of course, she's going to distance herself from this. And now she's coming up with, in my opinion, just laughable excuses like, oh, who could have seen that one coming? I mean, come on. Oh, he changed so much that I don't even recognize him. And she's doing that in order to save her own career, or what's left of it. And I'm not buying it. You shouldn't buy it either. You can if you want, but I'm certainly wary of all Republican politicians who have supported Trump, and I still am. I'm wary of the entire Republican Party. So, speaking of that, by the way, yesterday's show, I actually talked about how 2/3 of Republicans would follow Trump if he ran as a third-party candidate. So if he broke off and he decided he was going to run his own third-party candidacy, create his own political party, I don't know, the Freedom Party, the Trump Party, whatever, that a lot of Republicans, 2/3 of Republicans, would at least consider joining. I know he has got a third of all Republicans 100% behind him, and another third that is possibly could go over. I mean, the Republican Party is the party of Donald Trump at this point. So if you don't think that he's got lasting party power within the GOP and that he is going to continue to be relevant in GOP politics, you're wrong. They're enthralled. They're enthralled to him. The voters are enthralled to him, and the politicians as a result are as well. Even without Twitter, Trump finds a way to get his message across, and that's not going to go away anytime soon. As much as people like Nikki Haley believe that it will, especially as I said, if the Senate does not choose to convict, and I don't think that they will. They're going to open the door for Trump to run again, and if he somehow wins, which would be insane to think about, then he's going to have free reign because, he knows that he's going to be able to get away with anything. What are laws anymore? And it's not like this is even a criminal trial. This is a political trial. And they still can't say, we want to hold Trump accountable. And people like Nikki Haley, for her, part in this, she's going to sit there and publicly wonder how any of this could have happened. In reality, she knows. She knows. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.